Welcome back, our dear viewers. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli witnessed the launch of a high-level roundtable organized by the Ministry of International Cooperation to mark 1 year of NWAFI program. Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Environment, Agriculture, Transport, Water Resources and Irrigation joined the chairman of the Suez Canal Economic Zone to discuss the progress on NWAFI program. To shed more light about that, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Magdy Allam, the advisor of the Global Climate Program and Environment Facility. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Sir, first, can you shed light about the NWAFI program, which has been launched for a year now?
The NWAFI program actually is a new initiative that supports the triangle that we are all over the world looking for more increasing of assets in these three diameters. The first one is, of course, the water resources.
Yeah.
And the second one, of course, is energy. And the third one is food security or nutritional supplies. So through this triangle, we are trying all the institutions in Egypt. Actually is correlated with some international initiatives, either with FAO, the Organization for Agriculture, or with IFAD, actually the budget for international funds. And also there is a cooperation with all the international institutions, especially in the climate resilience and in the climate adaptation. Those are the two parameters that we, all the African countries, in hurry and quickly would like to repair the damage of the climate change.
Yes.
The damage of the climate change, including in all Africa continent. This continent, by the way, is only have 4% of the total GHG all over the world. Only 4%. So there is no real development in Africa continent for this, either maybe 3 or 4 countries like Egypt and South Africa. So those countries actually have now efficient irrigation technologies to supply the irrigation for the arid and semi-arid land, which is actually a very big challenge against the development either on the rural level or even the urban level. But actually the supplies of the food security is the most important issue that we, all the institutions, are working to increase this supply.
Yes.
As far as there is actually the parameters of extreme events that we see some of those events through the last year and maybe the 3 years before. We have increasing in the temperature of the surface of the earth, and this increasing may exceed 1.5 degrees of the surface of the earth to be increasing in heating, not to decreasing. This is vice versa that we would like to have. We would like to reduce the GHG, the greenhouse gases, to avoid the extreme events that being happen by those extreme climate change. So this is the first challenge, which of course needs a lot of funds. Unfortunately, even in the day of COP27 that being developed and managed by the government of Egypt and under the patronage of His Excellency President Sisi, it was a real serious proposal for the first time that we have what's called compensation or loss and damage compensation. This loss and damage compensation actually for the rural areas being damaged by the agriculture extremely decreased in the production up to 20 or maybe less, 15% of the traditional income generation of the main crops. We are referring, for example, for the wheat, and we are referring for the maize, and we are referring also to the olive and actually the other basic plants that we already export. Egypt already have up to 28% exports to the European and the American markets of our يعني citrus crops, olive crops, and other related very essential for sustainability of food security in the fields, especially in Africa and South America. Africa and South America are suffering from those extreme events without real development. They haven't such development like China, for example. And nowadays, China, of course, taking a lot of wood all over the world, and they cut actually up to 30% of the total tropical forest in South America. And this is actually increasing the negative impact of the climate changes on the other continents, like the Africa one and the South America one. So those two continents are suffering from development being done in Europe and the United States and China nowadays. So those developments actually compensating some of the defects, especially in China. But nowadays, China being increasing up to be the second country all over the world to increase food security with all kinds. And in the same time, Africa and South America are suffering from actually saturation of the basic nutritional supply.
Indeed. Sir, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli stressed that there is actually still hope to overcome the challenge of the climate change, but only if there is will and determination, which is what Egypt actually is seeking. What measures in the country could be taken in this regard, but which could be in cooperation somehow with the international community, because we are bearing as well the repercussions of the neglect for this very important file from the Western countries?
Actually, Egypt is declaring the green economy approach, not the black one or the brown one.
Yes.
So it is the first initiative maybe all over Africa and declared that they are completely transferred from the traditional economy or what's called the black and brown economy to green economy. The green economy actually is stated by the Prime Minister and approved by His Excellency the President after a big dialogue and conversations actually with other components and partners. So those partners nowadays are partners also with us in the initiative of NOAF. And the NOAF actually is mainly the agriculture one, but of course including the energy and the water resource. This is why, for example, Egypt nowadays establishment Al-Mahkama purifying station for water in Port Said. And this is actually a good example that we are recycling up to 12 million cubic meters of water. It was lost as actually a drainage of the canal. We have in Egypt up to 27 kilometers length of canals and other tributaries that carry the water from Aswan till Delta of Egypt.
Indeed.
So those EIT or efficient irrigation technology is actually a very essential approach to save water primarily, and also to recycle the water secondary, and also to go to new lands like Al-Arish and Sinai. Nowadays, Egypt is looking and started already to cultivate up to 500,000 fiddles in Sinai, in South Sinai.
Yes.
And actually, this is in addition to the coastal zone of Al-Arish till Port Said.
Yes.
It's actually also being cultivated nowadays by a lot of different approaches of at least three basic agricultural to add for the food security issue in Sinai Peninsula, not only all over the country.
Indeed. Also, the Prime Minister, during his participation in the high-level roundtable discussions, witnessed the launching ceremony of the European Investment Bank's regional headquarters for North Africa and the Near East in Cairo. What is the significance of such an event, Doctor?
Actually, Egypt, through the last 5 years, have agreements with more than 8 international banks as donors and as participants also in funding the budget correlated to especially the water and food security. And of course, because of the stopping using the petroleum and coal as an energy and replacing this with solar energy or wind energy or waterfall energy. So those are the main 3 electric generation powers made by Egypt to avoid and to reduce any of the pollution or the GHG coming from the coal or the petroleum one. So nowadays, we in Egypt may be the first country nowadays who are using up to 30%, according to the Minister of Electricity. Up to 30% is completely depending on clean energy, wind energy and waterfall energy, and also biomass energy, biogas energy, not the butane.
Indeed. Yes, sir. Actually, also during the round table activities, Minister of International Cooperation. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, Dr. Magdy. I do believe that we are having some technical difficulties with our communication with Dr. Magdy. Dr. Magdy Allam, advisor to the Global Climate Program and Environment Facility. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious input. Our dear viewers will go to a short break, and after that we'll be back with our segment in the breakfast show, so stay tuned.